Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome for a very special co-hosted edition of the Horrors of Horror. This time I have a good friend of mine, Director Arcater, the SCP
Greetings.
expert.
Oh, wait, I wouldn't go that far. There's no such thing as an SCP expert.
I
The
mean, you've
idea that
covered a
anyone has
lot.
read them all, true. I might suggest I'm very familiar.
Oh yeah, you're definitely familiar, because I think I knew about them, but I didn't really look too much into them besides the games that are all over Steam. Um, and then I when I started watching your channel through SideQuest, I kind of got more interested in them, and I just couldn't figure out a specific way on how I was going to integrate that into uh, the content that I do. But when I did figure it out, I was like, I probably should get Arkit on this. At least get his opinion.
Well, I'm happy to be of service if I can be. Certainly, the SCP Wiki has now an absolutely venerable piece of internet history. It was up and running long before a lot of other things that it clearly influenced. I still think they probably poached the crying angels from Doctor Who from the statue.
That's quite possible, which is a really cool idea.
No one can be sure. It could just be parallel ideas. It's not
That's true.
so exotic idea that could only have come from that direction, but I would not be surprised.
Neither would I. But we've got three of them that we're gonna go over today. I decided to choose one because I didn't get a response from the community on which one they would like me to cover, so I picked another one.
Boo.
Yeah,
You all had an
boo.
opportunity there. Like, there's a wide variety. You could have taken the first suggestion.
I know, but there weren't
There's a
any
portion of
suggestions
these.
at all, so I picked it myself. Fuck it, we ball. So,
By the way, as I understand it, you are covering SP001.
I
But which
am.
001?
Oh, that's the fun question of all of that, isn't it? That's the question of all of it. Because I've popped it up on the screen. Let me do a little bit of a fixin'. Gotta unblock that. Doot, doot, doot. That should be good enough. Lock it. SCP-001 is, interesting. I've got the screen up. I guess I can share it with you. Or I probably shouldn't, because it's gonna fuck up the, um,
Well,
design on
while you're
OBS.
adjusting that, I might note that SP01 is what it is in itself as a probably bizarre demonstration of human psyche. Like the people from day one of the wiki couldn't decide what should be the prestigious first SCP. So the ultimate solution was to just have a whole bunch of them. And they are all either disinformation or one of them's the real one amongst all this information, and no one would ever know which one is the real one. But it's all to obfuscate the fact that there can be no real one.
Right. And
Acute
that's...
sympathies on technical difficulties, by the way.
Oh no, you're
I
fine.
know this.
I got it.
Oh,
I've got it
I'm
just
not
fine.
blaming myself for this. I blame myself for a lot of things, but not this. I'm just saying I feel the pain, the hassle, and the fuddling with things, especially live.
It happens. And
Miseration.
it's not as bad as some other people have, where their mics are all jacked up. But I also have to I have to I have to point this out. Thank you to my resident weirdo Mike, and for the $5 donation, and Octane Junkie for a holy shit $100 dono. And because he did $100, I gotta do the thing. I'm not gonna go. I don't have Streamlabs up, so I'll just do the video.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yay, Ripley! Some of the few things that I kept. And we're back.
I approve. Also,
yeah.
I still love the power loader, even though it is completely impractical in every single way.
I know. The impracticality is
have-
what gives it the charm.
I suppose it must. I don't know if you know, but there is a creator who has gone through the trouble of trying to build one in reality, and it just has not panned out in the slightest. But it was a beautiful attempt.
I'll give him props for attempting it at least. Some people
Yeah,
don't
see,
have the
the
balls
arms-
for that.
The arms work just fine, but nothing about giving it legs over treads pans out.
Yeah. But now
Oh,
that
well.
now, bringing it back so that we can actually talk about the subject at hand. SCP-001, like Ark was saying, it's basically it's an enigma, is what it is. It could be a multitude of things. It could be nothing at all. Nobody will really ever know. And you can see it in the general note that I have on the screen here, where it says, in order to prevent knowledge of SCP-001 from being leaked, several/no false SCP-001 files have been created alongside the true files. All files concerning the nature of SCP-001, including the decoys, are protected by a mimetic kill agent designed to immediately cause cardiac arrest in any non-authorized personnel attempting to access the file. Revealing the true natures of SCP-001 to the general public is cause for execution, except as required under blank. Does that mean we're going to get executed, Ark? I think we're in trouble.
Where they can't kill us, we're already dead.
I
Dead
know,
internet
right?
theory.
That's true. None of us are
We can
real.
test
It's
this
all the
right now.
Matrix.
Clearly,
He's-
if this isn't the dead internet already, then this would kill us because it's a mimetic kill agent, right?
Mhm.
That's probably how it works.
So, when they're talking about files, when you scroll all the way down to the end, yes, I know it's a lot of white. Bam! It unlocks the mimetic kill agent, quote unquote. Continue live sites confirmed, and then the safety interlocks pop up, and you see a ton of links to other SCPs that are quote unquote SCP-001, which is
Fun fact,
hilarious.
the first time I read a 001 file, there were only 5.
And now there's like maybe 30 to 40, which
Yep.
is fun. And I chose to pick up one that, if you look at the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to pick one of them specifically, and that's Dr. Clef's proposal. It's the big boy. It's a big boy, guys. Big fiery boy. It's supposed to be a godlike figure, if I'm not mistaken. It's Euclid Keter class. If I remember, those are the really big bads, right? When it comes to the level of dangerousness, I guess. Am I correct, Tark?
Well, yes, Cater would imply something that could wipe out humanity. Euclid would stress something that would has its own agenda, something that we don't know what it's going to do because it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So there's something that has a mind of its own that could potentially wipe out humanity.
Potentially, quote unquote. And if you can't already see that it's a holy figure of note that from these little bullet points down here, I don't know what else would tell you that. There's a lot of data here, but I guess we'll go through the bullet points and description of what to do with it. Apparently there's no procedures on how to, contain it. I mean, I wouldn't think there would be if it's a godly figure. But apparently everybody that deals with it has to maintain good relations with an Abrahamic faith that's organized, like, I guess Judaism or something like that. You gotta have holy water, a rosary, crucifix, cross, anything that's like a holy item on you. And standard emergency supplies, which, that says vampires to me, but I guess that's because I'm from that side of the spectrum of...
probably more used to its application against vampires. In this case,
Yeah.
it would seem to be mostly just to stress that you are on the side of the giant flaming thing that can erase you with a blink.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently you have to have a secondary Abrahamic faith in it that's designated, which means you gotta have one or two. Or a secondary operative that's no wait, no, I misread that. You have to have somebody else that is of a non-Abrahamic faith, which I'm not sure. Is that like paganism or something? I'm gonna guess. And apparently that operative has to be aware of all your security procedure stuff, which is, kind of not good. Here's a description of it. Humanoid entity, approximately 700 cubits in length, or height, located in an undisclosed location near the intersection of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Which, if anybody isn't aware, that's apparently supposed to be where the Garden of Eden was. Kinda. Sorta. Something of that nature. Although an accurate count of has never been established. Oh, wait, no, hold on. The following features are known to the entity. A number of luminous wing-like appendages emerging from the shoulders, back, temples, ankles, and wrists of the entity. So lots of wings that are made of fire. Although an accurate count has never been established, most observers place the number of wings between 2 through 108, with the mean being 4.
Which is a strange mean number between 2 and 108.
Yeah. That doesn't seem right, but whatever you
Also,
say.
Who stared at long enough to count 108, even if there were 108 at the time?
Who's alive long enough to stare to count that many?
I'm thinking, well, when most people look at bright light, say, I don't know, directly into a candle flame, it tends to strain the eye just a bit. And this thing is a lot brighter than a single flickering candle. So I'm just really questioning the ones who reported 108 or so.
Yeah. How are you? I just want to know how they're alive long enough to do that. Because I would think you'd be fucking dead.
Was this an AI drone that did it? Just an extraordinary Rain Man autist went in there and no one could stop him?
Possibly. Maybe it's the autism that saved him. I mean, I know there are some cases in, like, scary movies where that saves you, but kind of like the virginity trope.
I find in the fact that we've got this image of the creature where it is entirely flame, I might note that something that is constantly billowing flame, seemingly comprised of flame, the fact that it might have a sword or knife that also appears to emit flames would kind of fail to stand out, wouldn't it? I suppose it helps that its temperature is rivaling that of the sun.
Yeah.
But it seems like something you would easily mix up with the other flaming appendages.
This be true. And it's probably far enough away that you won't be able to tell if it's a weapon or an appendage to begin with. And what's even better, it's even better, is that apparently anybody exposed to SCP-001 immediately has schizophrenia, hears voices in its head, and it gets a bunch of directives on what to do, most of which being forget. Meaning, I was not here, I am camouflaged. Men in Black, looking through the red light. Which is both terrifying and hilarious at the same time.
Well, I just kind of appreciate it. At least it's not defaulting to smiting them out of existence on any particular observation.
Yeah.
Although with such commands and with its ability to smite someone out of existence with a flick of the wrist, it kind of feels like Foundation is playing with fire and insisting upon paying attention to it very closely.
Yeah. But apparently...
I'd hate to lean on the patience of this creature.
Oh, I wouldn't want to lean on it either. And it doesn't just say forget, but on a rare occasion, it tells people to prepare. And it doesn't say for what. I'm gonna assume it's the fucking blip. It's the whole everybody is gonna get popped off of the face of the earth, and anybody who's not of faith is gonna be stuck in limbo. I'm gonna assume, and I'm assuming that because of the last little bullet point. It says observers have reported that SCP-001 appears to be standing in front of a gate of immense proportions. Long-range photographs have occasionally detected what appears to be a pastoral grove within, containing numerous other entities of the same composition as SCP-001, as well as several fruit trees of unknown composition. Yeah, that tells me Garden of Eden. This is probably some kind of angel. That's what I'm gonna guess.
Strong implication with that being the original Garden of Eden, as mentioned, hinted at most especially by the fruit tree. But I do wonder about all the other fruit trees that don't correspond with anything on Earth. Then again, maybe that shouldn't be surprising. You might be aware that humanity has changed the way fruit has looked over the centuries.
That's
The
true.
original bananas were nothing like the ones we have today.
No. And if you think about it even more, it probably wasn't even an apple tree. I've been hearing, or at least what I've seen from documentaries upon documentaries, it wasn't an apple, it was a pomegranate. Because of the location and time period. I don't think apples were even around there.
Well, this makes this particular file a bit more sus for pointedly saying one is an ordinary apple tree. Although I would say the very fact that it's behind a giant mystical gate guarded by a flaming angel-like creature would suggest that calling it an ordinary apple tree is stretch.
Yeah, that's a way bit of a stretch.
But it's fun to note that this is one of many SCP files for O1 that indirectly take credit for foundation of the Foundation.
Oh yeah, there are again. We'll look at it again. There's a ton of them. There's a lot of them. And they all kind of give you like an idea of what they are. The prototype is one of them. The spiral path. I know one of them is the Ouroboros. Another one that I looked at was When Dawn Breaks, which is like a weird red sun incident. The Scarlet King, which I think is also kind of associated with what I have in the thumbnail. But I probably will look at all of these at some point and kind of play around with it to see what's what, cause fun. But might as well go.
There's one I find particularly amusing. I can't remember which one it is. Maybe you'll stumble across it, where the idea was there was just one SCP itself, which was in fact an SCP file that, when you read it, would detail an SCP that didn't exist until you read it.
That's
which was
hilarious.
Incredibly simple, but rather meta.
It's literally playing the game SCP edition. That's what it sounds like.
Which you can now do, by the way, because the Foundation Wiki has inspired many games now, most of which are free to play.
This
Not all of
is
them, though.
true.
5K has a price tag to it. I still might have to get it.
I have a bunch of them on my... I've got a bunch of them on my Steam list that I really want to fuck around with, because SCPs are cool and they're fun. Speaking of more SCPs, I know the one you picked was SCP-1239. Did you want to tell us about that one?
Why, sure. A lot of SCPs, I've noted, can be attributed to some asshole wizard, which has prompted me to blame Magog on many occasions. That said, not all of them can be pinned to that. This is one of those cases that tempts one to it. We're looking at SCP-1239 in that case. It's safe, and even though it's basically a trap to set up people to do something truly awful, safe is the correct classification. I really appreciate that. They only have 3 classifications, but their accuracy rating for using their own classifications, not very high.
Yeah, I noticed
A lot of
that.
things are misclassified. Yeah. And there are some SCPs that actually mock that, like the SCP designation store itself in SCP, mocking the invention of additional classifications when so few people seem to be able to grasp 3.
Makes you wonder how
But
how intelligent these SCP workers actually are.
indeed.
Indeed.
Certainly, not all these pieces have been professionally done. But that's all right. No one requires perfection, and it only makes sense when you consider that when you read a number of SCP files, you immediately realize one thing. They cannot all be the same foundation. The competence of the foundation, the staff, the dialogue, the actions taken are so wildly erratic and different from each other, one has to immediately realize they're dealing with basically a wiki covering a metaverse of foundations, ranging from the Saturday morning cartoonish to the staggeringly incompetent in every way to the edgy teen trying to make a political point they don't understand themselves to hyper competent quality sci-fi series type writing that you don't even see on TV anymore.
God, I miss that kind of writing too. That stuff was awesome. They need to bring back the kind of writing they had in Twilight Zone, because that shit was... A lot of those episodes were so peak. They were so well written.
The amount of thought that goes into these things does vary wildly.
I know.
But item SCP-1239 is marked safe. It is not just one item, it is a collection of items, but it's filed under 1239-1 because all the items are required to affect the anomalous affectations. I completely fumbled the writing or speaking of that, so I really shouldn't criticize other people for dialogue. Anyhow, we're looking at a location and 3 items. No, just 2 items. 1 Arkansas. And a specific set of objects present at times. Okay, that's more than... Sorry, in hindsight, the classification of this is more and more baffling.
It is. Because when I started
As
reading it, I
implied-
was like,
Yeah, 3 components, but one of the 3 components is a specified set of objects, which means that one of the 3 components is a large number of additional components, which means that's more than 3 components.
apparently from the full screen, there's a 16. It's a lot.
Well, they got the classification right. That's important. They got that right.
Maybe.
Anyhow, when the assorted items are assembled in the same spot, we have 3 different effects that follow. Subjects will perceive some of these items to be something they aren't. They will perceive any children around them as being wonderful company they want to play with, no matter whether or not they hated kids initially, although if they did hate kids in the first place, the following results would probably be slightly easier to swallow. Subjects will receive any reaction from the children as positive, no matter what is actually happening to them. And then, upon leaving the effect to the area, they will have a memory of what they did, but not why, with absolutely no delusions that led them to do what they did, which is dark. Dark as a starving puppy being eaten by a crying clown.
Yeah,
Maybe a bit darker.
it gets darker when you go through the different kind of effects that you have, because it's rather chilling to think that somebody could be playing with a kid and then it turned violent and their reactions all look like a positive thing, so they keep doing it.
Well, we can go through it. Just the best example right here is SCP-1239-13, a large oven. A cardboard box with the words "Fort" written on top of it, felt tip pen, and apparatus the words "Fun Controls" written above it, which corresponds to dials. The text representing the max temperature, 200 C. The temperature dial can be set to has been replaced with the word "Maximum Fun." And the words "Fun" button have been printed above the button activating the device. So Someone just pops the kid in the fun fort and then presses the button for maximum fun.
Yeah, you found the House of Candy, Hansel and Gretel. Now go into the fun box. Yeah.
And then, of course, because under the effect of the illusion, all that screaming is just screams of joy. They're having a blast. I wonder how the illusion compensates for the eventual smell of char,
And
burnt
it's not
hair.
just char, it's burnt flesh and hair
Yeah.
and organs and trust me, I know the smell of that stuff because when I was in high school I took a forensics class and we did a lot of tests on a lot of different things, and oh my god, Vicks Vapor Rub is your best friend because that stuff stunk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's memorably bad. For people who would not necessarily play with a kid so much as to cram them into a box, you have, of course, the more direct route, a Glock 19 pistol, which then appears to be a toy handgun, which produces a low-energy red laser upon the trigger being pulled. The object has a mechanism to load cartridges normally. So basically, you think you're playing laser tag with a kid, you just actually shooting them dead. Although I wonder how illusion, in this case, masks the recoil.
Yeah. Because you definitely feel it in your entire body. Especially because it's a Glock 19.
It's a curious sort of mind control this has on it, because
Yeah.
people who do this, while they're in this condition, while the effect is active, apparently can't notice this, but they will remember all these details without the illusions upon leaving, which has led me to some hypotheses as to why this exists. And while we are clearly dealing with some sort of anomalous magic crap, I don't think it's just the same as an asshole wizard doing it for shits and giggles. This feels like a blackmail setup to me.
This is malicious as shit.
There's a scheme beyond just getting some kids killed. I'm willing to bet that the Foundation got there before this was put in use a few times, they would have found the place wired for video and audio.
Yeah, that's a great thing to think about. And maybe more apropos because 123915 is literally the Tide Pod challenge with batteries. Because it makes them look like cookies and sweets of pretty colors. So, oh, here, kids, eat the batteries. That's totally gonna go well.
Well, this certainly stresses there must be some psychic compulsion on the kids as well. Because, okay, so it looks like sweets or biscuits. What child can chew through a battery?
That's true.
What adult physically crams a sweet or cookie down a child's throat?
A psychopath.
See, I mean, the effects of the illusion here, I don't understand why they'd be doing that, unless... Because no one does that in reality.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone going, "You better eat this cookie."
Right. The last one's actually kind of funny. Because it's a bunch of pots and pans that look like water balloons. So you could just imagine grown-ass adults under this, whatever it is, throwing water balloons at kids. And it's like throwing a fucking frying pan at them. It's hilarious and scary at the same time.
It's probably the least threatening of them, though, as I'm
true.
Pretty sure your average kid could survive that. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But they'll survive that much. I suppose so long as they stay away from the toy gun and the fun fort, they'll probably get out of it alive.
Oh, yeah. That's yikes. Super yikes. I don't know why they would classify that as safe, because that doesn't seem safe to me. Maybe it's because if you have, it has to have them all together.
Ah, well, let me explain why it's safe. Even if they were all in the same place, so long as no one turns on that "Hey kids" light, then nothing happens. That's what makes it safe. It has no agenda of its own. It will not turn itself on. If it's left where it is, or better still, properly packed away with all the parts separated, it will never harm anyone in any way.
Gotcha.
That's what makes it safe. There are a lot of safe objects that are called safe, even if, say, it's a stapler that if you punch it, it immediately fires your eyeballs at your asshole. That is still technically safe because it won't do that
Unless you click
unless
it.
you press the stapler. Right.
Is that an actual SCP? Because that is way too funny.
As far as I'm aware, not that particular one, but a lot
That would
of
be
similar
hilarious.
ones.
Because that's the
The extra
funniest.
red line stapler
Yeah.
probably could bear a write up.
Hilarious.
But I have no patience for the bureaucracy necessary to get an SCP file added to the wiki in the modern era.
Right. I wouldn't have it either. I'm just going to read them and laugh at how good or bad they are.
Oh, and to the record, this is not designed to reference a South Park character. If I was doing that, I probably would have cut off the top of my head and have it flapping off to the side, go full Canadian. I always thought this better reminds me much more of the old Monty Python animations.
I see that. I can definitely see that now. But who was it that mentioned it? I think it was Nexus Hunter that says Ark loves him a plague doctor. Well, guess what, guys? What I picked in instead of a suggestion is the plague doctor, because why the fuck not? Everybody knows about the plague doctor. Everybody's seen it somewhere. Everybody is aware that this is an SCP. It's one of those popular ones, or at least most well-known ones. Is object class
Very
you could,
popular.
yeah, super
Euclid,
popular.
indeed, and this is correct.
Yeah,
It's not
because
quite
it has its own agenda.
capable of purging reality, but it indeed is pursuing its own things
Yeah.
nonsensically. Although there are a lot of hypotheses on this point.
Yeah. But it looks like it's got some containment procedures of, it's usually cooperative, but when it's not, you gotta kind of, you know, deal with it. I'm not sure how you deal with it. It doesn't really say. Oh, and you need to give it a corpse of a recently deceased animal, apparently. Every 2 weeks.
I believe it's more along the lines of reward for good behavior. One of the ways you keep it in line, you allow it to pursue its research, so it doesn't constantly try to escape to pursue its research.
That makes sense. It looks like it got to so bad though that they're not allowed to interact with SCP Foundation members, and they're not being given corpses.
Yes, none of its research is worthwhile. It has nothing of value to offer anyone, but it's very smug about it, and it will try and keep trying regardless. So even if you have staff that work well with it initially, it's known to occasionally just treat them as if they are quote unquote infected, and from there on quite badly.
Yeah.
Which means you don't want to provide it time with any staff you aren't prepared to lose.
That's true. You can't give them any meat shields. And we will meat bags.
Taking hostages, but it'll do something with that meat, all right.
Oh yeah, I think it's cool that the facial structure, it's like it's fused with the mask. That's kind of cool. I know how it breathes, but
oh, one more aspect of its anomalous nature, and I get the impression it's apparently its entire outfit, although it appears to be manufactured, is its body, effectively. So,
yeah.
strictly speaking, when you were looking at the picture of it, supposedly depicting 49, you're seeing the naked creature, no longer just the outside of a costume. That's a new dude.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Honestly.
We're just not horrified because we're not seeing him below the waist. Also, his junk is probably fused into the suit as well, so it's not that much danger there, I expect.
And wait, think of some more. Apparently, he's kind of necromantic. Because it reanimates corpses?
Not just corpses, it's made shambling monstrosities some of the animals have been given as well. The creatures it has ostensibly cured. or rather failed experiments. It's never really quite clear. Suffice to say, though, 49 learns nothing ever.
It's
He
just
is
a
the worst
sadist.
position, absolutely the worst position, primarily because when he fails his patients, they don't just die, they become undead. That's a level of fail the medical establishment has never thus far achieved.
Yeah. And apparently it got found because it got busted kidnapping and playing around with things in southern France. That's
And if it ever escaped, it would be probably rapidly caught afterwards doing the exact same thing wherever it wound up.
probably.
Although how it would get very far surprises me because it's not really capable of just blending in.
Oh, cool. They've got little voice. Yeah, little audio files in here too. Why not click one
Yes,
and see what
feel
happens?
free.
Alors, comment devrions-nous commencer une introduction?
Is that French? Can we get a translator?
The King's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough.
You cheeky bastard. You did that on purpose.
Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I...
Ah, a doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your speciality, sir?
Cryptobiology. Why?
A medical man, such as myself. Wonders abound. And here, I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. This place, then, this is your laboratory. I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge. The great dying. Come now, you know what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed.
This is giving me the kind of vibes that in that one episode of Invader Zim gave, where he gets the goggles and he can see germs everywhere and becomes an absolute germaphobe. That's what I'm getting reminded of right now. And it's hilarious.
You know, that's an SCP file as well. The suspiciously clean lab coat.
Oh god. When you say suspiciously clean, that I have a feeling it's not clean.
Oh, but it is. Not even all that anomalously. The problem with it is the effects it has on those who wear it.
Oh.
The coat itself is merely antimicrobial, and nothing really survives on it. And the effect of magnifying germs to where you can see them with your plain eyes is ostensibly useful. However, there appears to be a cumulative negative effect on the psyche.
Yeah, you're gonna go kind of insane when you're seeing germs everywhere.
But just a curious thing that should happen to be mimicked as an idea. As for the plague doc here, I want to tip the hat real quick to the voice actors. The guy doing the voice for 49 is doing an excellent job. He reminds me a bit of Paul Bettany.
Yeah, his voice sounds very familiar with the cadence and the tone. And I can't put my finger on it exactly.
He's not far off from sounding like Paul Bettany doing Vision.
It's true.
If you had him stick his head in a can, maybe.
Maybe. It is very good voice acting for damn sure. I quite enjoy it.
Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see.
Yeah, but it's
The cure
been a huge argument for some time, and a lot of people feel very strongly about their views. one of the main suggestions is that 49 is out there trying to cure free will.
Oh.
But if that's the case, then
It's not
even
doing a
in
good
this
job of
context,
it.
yeah, 49 is absolute garbage at it.
Oh, yeah. Absolute garbage.
SCP-049 stands out as the single worst ostensible physician to ever maybe draw a breath.
Yeah. But then again, you can argue that a lot of the physicians of old had to do a lot of really sadistic shit to figure out a lot of the things that we know about medical practice today. Which is...
Yes, the origins of medicine are dark and bloody indeed.
Mhm.
And in some contexts seem to be backsliding, but at least, you know, it's we had a good span there at least where it was a distinct net positive.
Oh, my community member Mike says that the voice actor is the Volgan, and he has his own SCP reading channel.
I'm on his Discord server. I wasn't aware Volgan did that particular voice, but I do know the Volgan has made a lot of great, not just SP readings, but I believe Containment was his series, wasn't it? Well,
He would have to
I can't
answer
confirm.
that. Because I'm not... this is the first time hearing of him, so I wouldn't be able to answer that for you. But, hey, at least somebody in my audience knows. That's pretty cool.
And all cures.
When you say
Yeah,
the
I
great
can-
dying, are you
I'll
talking
get
about the
link to that
bubonic
server
plague?
if you want to look into it. He has done some great work. I'm just sad I don't really have a in to ever speak with him. On the topic of 49 more time, again, absolutely the worst ostensible doctor, only willfully ignorant of it. The dialogue makes this clear by the time you get to an interaction between him and Dr. Sherman.
Yeah. That is... further down here. Still Dr.
Yeah, those
Ham.
ellipses.
Ah,
This
down
is,
here.
well, I suppose we have the audio clip to cover it, but you don't have that many ellipses coming from someone who knows they're actually right.
Yeah. The ellipses basically tells you, I gotta think of how to get out of this one. Oh boy.
Now he cured him. He was sick, and you're all sick, but you know I can save you because I'm the cure. Bullshit. I don't think 49 knows what it's doing, which again is why my favorite version of 49 is 49J.
Ah. I don't know if it has a link to that one, or if it's just incorporated
Oh,
into
it's not
the...
linked to from here, but it's an easy one to get to.
Let's see. See if I can pull that up, because I'm curious. Now you got me thinking curiously. Oh, look at that goober. That is one goobery dude. This one doesn't have any audio files in it, but it seems like it's very similar to SCP-049's Plague Doctor, obviously. But maybe because, as you're saying, it has a different kind of attitude.
49J is, well, I consider them a bit more honest and objectively a better physician than the original 49.
I mean, anything would be better than that. So there's this interview. If you want to, I think we want to read this so they can get an idea, since there's no audio file.
Would you like to take a role? We can trade off. Would you read Dr. Baker or
I can do Dr. Baker.
49J?
I can do Dr. Baker.
Okay.
Hello, SCP-049J. Welcome to...
I'm a doctor!
Yes, I'm aware. We're just doing this as a...
I have the cure.
Yes, well, we'll get to that. First off, can you tell me your name?
Yes, quite very well. I have the cure, good sir. Indubitably, yes. I am a doctor.
What?
Bring me to the patient. I will heal them.
Jesus, watch. Fuck, what are you. Watch where you swing that thing.
I am the cure.
What in the world are you. Oh, I get it. You're some sort of moron, aren't you?
No, good sir. I'm most effective. I mean, my cure. I am the cure. Very effective. The most, because I am a doctor.
Right. We're going to look into that. Let's, So, this patient
Has the pestilence, yes. I can smell it.
has a sore throat. We were wondering if you know of any cures to fix their ailments.
Yes, of course. I am a doctor after all.
Need any help over there?
No. It's not the cure. I'm the cure. Ah, yes. This will do the trick.
That is a shoe
Yes.
that will heal this person.
It is the cure.
Alright, go ahead. Whoa, fuck, what are you doing? How is that supposed to help? What the fuck was that?
Patient is healed.
I want to comment that he just beat the patient to death with a shoe.
No, patient is very well now. Yes, I am the cure.
Look at all this blood. Moral atrocities aside, this is going to take hours to clean up. You just killed a person.
No, they are cured. Yes, watch. Grabs the corner of the patient's mouth and begins to move it while speaking out of the corner of his own. Oh, yes. I am the patient, good sir, and I am cured most effective. Thank you, doctor. You did a good job. You are the best doctor.
Now look here. I see your hound down there. I know that isn't the patient talking. What is this supposed to be?
Oh, look! More pestilence over there!
What? Wait. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's gone again. God damn it. That's hilarious. That is the trolliest interview I've ever read. Except for the part where he beat somebody to death with a shoe.
Well, what did this foundation expect, putting anyone in front of this individual? And, it takes a while typically to beat someone to death with a shoe, so I'm pretty sure they weren't in a huge rush to save a particular life. What I note primarily is that this version of SCP-049J is objectively superior to the original as a physician.
I mean, puts it down if it's sick.
Look, they're not bothered by their sore throat anymore, and they also aren't, shuffling around trying to chew on people's heads to get at their brains, so...
Yeah.
Distinctly better than 49J,
Yeah.
without quite as
yeah.
much pretension.
Yeah. Yeah, that's ostensibly better. But I think that's
Well,
all we've
better.
got.
Better. Low bar, granted. Not that much better,
Yeah.
but still better to have a doctor that just screws up bad enough to kill their patients without reanimating them as some sort of undead threat to everyone else.
This is true. We don't need them coming to get us, Barbara.
I prefer the incompetence that doesn't result in an undead army of shambling horrors.
You and me both. I don't think I have enough ammunition for that. But I think that's everything we got today. That was a fun little trip into the SCP metaverse, I guess. There's plenty more of those, so if you guys want to do this, if you guys want us to do this again, let us know, because I'm down. I'm happy. Happy to do that. That was fun.
Anytime. Yes, like Dr. Zach in the comments is stressing that one of the other hypotheses that 49 is trying to cure the fear of death, which
Good luck with that.
fair enough. That's one hypothesis. I would note that if this is the case, once again, SCP-49 is
Bad at it.
absolutely fucking it up. They're just the worst job imaginable. Just really terrible job. Just
Yeah.
completely so bad a job. It doesn't even matter if it's trying to cure free will or fear of death. It sucks at it.
Yeah. Yeah. But
The motivation behind this layer of suckage is almost entirely irrelevant.
exactly. But I think that's all we've got today, guys. Is there anything you got going on that you want to put out to the audience?
Well, for those of you who would like to be aware of the upcoming return of Side Quest, that is expected before the month is out. So there's more of that for those people who enjoy such things. I, of course, maintain my Friday weekly stream, and I might expand my schedule as chance may have it, but no solid plans there yet.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and sweet nightmares. And we're off.